Hey everybody, it's Laura. I'm here at the Nook, and today I wanted to do a short video on macrame and just show you two knots that I like to use to make these dangles. And so quickly, I just want to bring these up, but see if I can get a little bit better show of them. And then we'll go off. You can use so many different kinds of materials, and there's so many ways that you can use the knots to make dangles that look completely different from each other. And of course, you can use all different kinds of clasps that you want, depending on what you want to do with it. And then one of my favorites. Okay. So, hi, I don't think this is going to work too good. What do you think? I need to macrame, okay? So, let's get started. What you need to macrame. Here it is. You're going to need some scissors, a pokey tool, and I just use the Tim Holtz. You can use an awl. You can use a tapestry needle, anything that's long that will and thin that will allow you to pick up when you're weaving. You need some tape. You can have masking tape, painter's tape, washi tape if it sticks. I use cellophane tape. I use a clipboard. It's not necessary. If you can tape your project to a table, then you can just get a good tape that'll tape it down and hold it down like masking tape or something like that. But I can't tape to my table. It pulls off the finish. So I use a clipboard and a bead or beads if you want to use them in your project, a ring or some type of a top clasp that you can weave from. And then cording. This is, of course, yarn. And I use it for this video, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. What I really like to use for a starting point is either some kind of a jump ring, which come in all sizes, and that's going to blind you. And there's some bigger ones. Or I use different kinds of lanyard things that I get from Amazon. And it just depends on the size of your project, the size of your cording, how big you want your clasp to be. Also, you can get into all kinds of cording. Let's see if I can get this on there. This is number 10 hemp, and I love the variegated. As you can see, it comes in all colors. This is waxed linen thread that I use for binding journals, and I use it because I don't know if I can show you. It's rather thin, but I like it because it also comes in colors. And then I have a very thin twine. Because I am trying to use beads I already have, I have to come up with twines or strings or whatever that will fit the beads I already have. Now, I did use some of the Tim Holtz twine that comes in different colors at Christmas time. I used it at Christmas and macrameed in some jingle bells using it. So really just whatever you've got, whatever you can use up. If you want to buy new, then you can go any way you want to go. What I would suggest, especially for beads, as you can imagine, there are all different kind of beads, as you saw in the dangles that I had out. This happens to be a fired glass bead, which is really pretty with silver in the middle, because it's wide hold. What I would do if I'm, didn't have beads already is I would research and look for, excuse me, wide hole beads. Okay, so you're going to get a good listing of different kinds of beads that have wide holes. And then that way you can use different kinds of cording with them. You're not, you know, kept to using just the really narrow. So with the cording, I don't measure. And I apologize for that. If you're somebody that loves to measure, I'm sorry. I really am. I take the cording in my fingers and pull it up my arm to my throat. Okay? Then I cut it. I do that twice. Let me just put in here really quickly. If you want to have a measurement, then I would suggest the first time you macrame to take it up your arm like I do and cut it. Make 2 of them, measure how long they are, and write that down. Then go through, macrame your piece, and at the end, if you have a part that you want to cut off the tail, cut that off and measure it. Measure the longest piece, and then subtract that from your original measurement. And in that way, you will slowly get to know what amount you want for each of your pieces, depending on what they are, if they're small, if they're big, you know what I mean. So that's what I would do if you want to measure to get a better idea of the inches you'd need or the centimeters you'd need. Do that twice. You have to have 2 pieces of string. Then you want to double it, and you end up with a loop. And this is how we start. Our lark's head knot. Lark's head knot is the first one we're going to do. So front to back, you're going to take it through your hoop and bring it down. Okay? Then you want to come through and grab that string. Okay? You're going to grab it and you're going to pull it through the loop. Front to back. Pull it through the loop. And then you have something like this. Okay? Pull the strings and pull it up tight. Snug it up. And you have a lark's head knot. There's your first one. We need 2, so let's do it again. Put the ends together. Come up with a loop. Then we're going to go front to back and pull it down. We're going to pull, come on. Don't be that way. It's a video, so it's going to be that way. Okay, pull the strings through, front to back. And again, then you have something that looks like this. Okay? So just pull on the strings, tighten it, and you have a lark's head knot. So you have 2. Now we're ready to weave. Okay? Immediately, you want to separate your 4 cords. The left goes to the left, the right goes to the right, and this is where our tape comes in. We want to tape down the middle 2 so they're stationary. Okay? We want them to stay in place. Now, when we start, I start on the right because I'm right-handed. You can start on the left if that's more comfortable for you, or if you're left-handed. It doesn't matter, which is great. But whichever way you start, you have to keep going that way, because this particular weave that I'm going to show you is alternating. Okay? So you want to start, if you're starting with the right, you make a P, a half circle, and then you bring the left down over it, and you see where this intersection is, where that comes over the top of the right one. Okay, this is your working cord, your left side. So you want to take your pokey tool and just gently lift your stationary and slip this under below that juncture. Okay, slip it under and then angle it up and up through your half circle and pull, and there's your square knot. So you just want to pull it up and snug it in, and there you have it. You've got your first square knot. Now we started on the right, so we're alternating. So here goes the left. You want it to be horizontal, and then you bring this down. Okay, we're going to just gently lift the stationary ones and slide it under below that intersection and up through the half circle. Okay, and that makes our square knot, and we're going to lift it up and then we'll snug it in. Now this brings an important point, at least for me, so I thought I'd point it out for you in case it would help you too. when you're making the square knots, they make this vertical line. They make this vertical line right here. This is the last knot you've made where you find the vertical. There's no vertical over here, but you can see the vertical piece here. So the baby's crying, the dogs are barking, your husband needs you for something. You put it down, and then you come back and you're like, which side do I do? Ugh. Well, where's your vertical? Here's your vertical. Okay, so that's the last one you did, so that's where you start for the next round. So you make your P, your half circle, come down, through, and up. Okay, and there you have that. Down. I'm not going to use the pokey tool for a moment. Oop, up through the circle, pull, and we're going to come up and then snug. If you snug before you pull it up, then you start getting this all puckery. So you pull it up to where it'll be snug to the next one, and then you pull it tight this way. Now you say, I think I'd like to add a bead. So we untape the middle two, and this bead is going to go through. That's why whenever you're picking out a bead and a cording, your two pieces in the middle have to be able to go through that bead. So you need to pick out a bead that has a hole large enough for the twine you're using, or find a twine that two pieces of it will fit together through the center of the bead at the same time. There's one. And when I have something that's kind of going to be tough to get it through, I put my fingers at the bottom of the bead and snug that up, and then that gives you as much of an opening as you can have, and you're ready. So here we are. The bead went through, and as I said, it has to go through both of the stationary cords. So you need to be sure before you start weaving that your bead will fit through both cords. And now we look and we find there's the vertical. So this side starts, side with the vertical starts, and we go over and under and up through the half circle. And there's that. And so we want to lift it up to the bottom of the bead and then just snug it in. Just snug that bead in. And come on. Come on. And so just a couple of stitches, just a couple of rows of knots should put that in nice and snugly. So you say to yourself, I'm finished. My piece is finished. So you untape and gather all your pieces, wrap them around your fingers, and make a knot. There are all kinds of ways that you can finish the piece off. I'm sure you can find some fabulous ways. This is the way that I most of the time do it. Let me just, well, on this one, I stuck a bead between the end of my weaving and my knot, but you can see the knot. And whoop, it's just right there. All right, so this is it. We have finished the macrame piece that has the lark's head knot and the square knots, and we've added a bead. So now you can go forth and create, and I would love to hear from you. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for coming by and spending some time with me. I hope you all have a sparkling day, and until the next video, take care and be well.